we don't kill them. And
I have to ask you about this because I had a lot of margaritas the night that I met Mark, but I'm almost positive he said he used to live in Auburn.
He did. He actually went to Auburn like for a hot minute. He went to 7 different colleges. And so I guess if you're going to go to 7 colleges in Alabama, Auburn's probably going to be one of them.
Yeah.
But yeah, never went to Alabama.
But he's an Alabama fan.
You know, in that state, it's just there's only 2 things. There's no NHL, there's no NBA, there's no NFL, there's no, baseball. There's nothing except Alabama and Auburn. And it's got to be one or the other. And you cannot, if he was to grow up in an Alabama family and like be the one that liked Auburn, he'd be ostracized. So
it makes sense. I told Marcus I would ask about that because I was like, I want to say he said he went to Auburn High School or something, but it doesn't make sense because he's a Bama fan.
Oh yeah, I think he went for like 6 months, like a semester or something. He never went to any school he went to Troy, he went to UAB, he went to he was drafted drafted, that's not the word, but FSU. He rehabbed. Where did he rehab? Oh, Northern Alabama. He went to 7 different colleges, never graduated. I went to one college for 7 years and never graduated. So we have that in common.
And it was love.
7. Yep.
Speaking of love and the South, we kind of bonded over the fact that, is he right there still?
No, he's gone. He's on his way to Chattanooga for the state championship our son's playing in tomorrow.
Fun. We bonded over the fact that our husbands both moved us to the South against our will.
Yes.
And we were both fine where we were. And I just wanted to check in and see how that was going for you.
Yeah. Everybody asked me, they're like, oh my gosh, do you love Nashville? Are you loving it? How are you feeling? I'm like, I can't even think about it like that in those terms. It is what it is. I moved here because I prioritized my marriage over other things. And he made the point that I always make friends wherever I go. And that wouldn't be hard for me, but I'm a little sick of making friends. Like, I feel like my dance card is full. Yeah. And I don't want to, and I don't really want to like always be restarting the same stuff. Like at some point, and my whole life is, in the industry that I'm in, it's like, it's a circus show. So you're constantly in different cities, different towns, meeting different people, getting close to them, leaving them. Yeah. So I wanted stability. I wanted a town where my kids grew up with their kids and they're my friends and they're their friends and they're Mark's friends. And we all, as a village, take care of these kids and grow up with and have the same stories and share the same memories. And it was like, so, but that aside, like, I left my friends in LA to move to Connecticut. And now I've left my friends in Connecticut to move here. Yeah. And I've made some great friends here. And if I was to leave, I moved to Toronto for 2 years, made some great friends there. So I have these pockets of friends, but I don't really have I call so many people my best friends, but it's like, you want that person that you can like go over to their house, have a cup of tea and cry on their shoulder, or like go sneak a cigarette in their backyard, or, have all those. And to find that person in every different place you go is hard. Like, who do you trust and what do you do? And I'm loving it. I love the adventure of it. I love the living a different lifestyle, living in the South for once, and saying we're from Nashville and stuff. But it's got a lot of difficult moments. But I do go to LA a lot. I'm gonna go to Connecticut next week, see some friends, have a little New York holiday weekend thing. Nice. But so I luckily it's easy. Nashville, the great thing about Nashville, the thing that drew me was like okay about me moving here was that there's an international airport right here. So I can jump on a plane and be in LA real quick. I can be in New York. I can be in Long Island where I'm from. I just went up last weekend for like 2 days to see my dad and all my sisters and my nieces, and like jumped on a plane and went and had pizza with them, So it was like awesome. Southwest flies everywhere from here. So it was awesome. Yeah. Except for the Pacific Northwest. But
so I am in Brooks, Georgia, which nobody's ever heard of, but it's 20 miles south of Atlanta Airport, also international. Oh yeah. And that was one of my things. Like, it's so funny.
Not only international, that's the biggest airport in the world.
Oh yeah. So I am like, I said, well, he's like, we both married guys from Alabama, and he said the same thing. He's like, you'll make friends wherever. And he's right. Like I know I'll be fine wherever. He was miserable. And we were outside. He retired with the Redskins in 2009. And we had just been chilling outside of DC since then. No family there. I never had any help with my kids. So it made sense to move to the South because his parents are here. But in my mind, I was like, I'm not moving to Alabama. Like I said it years ago, I was like, it's not happening. Yeah. So we ended up here where we don't know anyone, but it's an hour from Alabama, 30 minutes from the airport. I have a sister in Atlanta. So we kind of like found this pocket where it's country. He's got his country thing going on, but I can get to an airport. I can get to my sister, and having the help from his parents has been everything.
Oh,
Like I
that's
should
nice.
have
Yeah,
done
we
it.
don't have anybody here. That was really hard in the beginning. Like, you know, we moved here 8 days before Halloween last year. And the hardest thing was like COVID and everything else. It's not like a normal year where you just send the kids out on the street and find trick or treating.
Yeah.
Last year, it was like you had to find the pockets that were still doing it. And Nashville was just shut down. And
Yeah.
I wasn't expecting that because nothing else was really shut down. It was just
Yeah.
like Halloween didn't happen. So I'm like, kids walking around outside with masks on is not allowed. Like, I don't understand. But
Right.
not having anyone here to say, oh, well, where you have to go is I searched numerous things. We went to numerous places just to be shut down. Like we went to Vanderbilt because I heard the sororities were going to have like candy tables out front.
Aw.
And then that turned out to be 2 years. I'm terrible at research, 2 years ago. And then I heard about this haunted mansion and we were going to go there, but Mark's like, just double check because we don't need tickets. And then I went on and I was like, that's 2015 is when that haunted mansion thing took place. Like I'm the worst at research. So I dragged him to like botanical gardens where I was like, maybe on the botanical gardens, you'll have some candy. But no, instead my kids had to walk around botanical gardens in their costumes. They were mad at me. So, not having like family or friends or, anyone in the neighborhood that could really point us in the right direction in the beginning. And, just things like we're at the car dealership. Who's going to pick up our kids from school? Cause we're running late because we're getting a new car, and you're like, we have to go. We don't have a car, but we have to go. Like,
exactly.
I got to go get my kids and I don't have anyone to call and be like, hey, would you mind just, and in Connecticut, I had this very small town. And I think I always wanted to grow up, like Mark grew up in rural Southern Alabama and I grew up in kind of like suburban New York. And we always had those tiny towns where you ride your bike wherever you need to the pizza place or wherever you need to go. And I thought we wanted that. And that's what we had in Connecticut. But he was just so, like you said, so miserable there.
Yeah.
But he was so sure. And he was so sure blaming everything on the Northeast.
Yeah.
That turns out to have been a change in times. Like, he'd be like, I was pointing out one of the things last night. Like, he was like, oh, that would never happen in the South. And then it turns out, he was like, we never play sports on the weekends. And the weekends are for family. We only do it on weekdays. And I was like, when we moved to the South, we were having basketball games on Sunday. I'm like, see, it's not.
Yeah.
It's
not when
not
you grew
the
up
Northeast,
there.
it's 2021. Yeah. So he's finding out a lot of things like that. Like, like sports. This is the one. Mason all of a sudden wants to play soccer. And Mark's like, always up in the Northeast. He's like, oh, these yuppie sports up here, these soccer and this lacrosse. I'm like, dude, do you see the soccer like fans around Nashville? Like the stickers all over the cars about the Nashville Soccer League. Like, are you kidding me? Like, it's not just, that's not just a Yankee sport. Like,
and not how he remembers it. But him growing up in Alabama, you grew up in New York. Obviously, you already had your career and had established yourself. How did you guys meet and start dating?
Oh gosh. Okay. So I always say, I was living in LA and he was still living in Alabama, but basically on his tour bus. He was on tour.
Yeah, he was in a band,
and,
lead singer, right? Of a band.
Lead singer of a band called Course of Nature. They had the World Cup song of 2002. They were on tour with Creed and Nickelback in the summer of 2002 we met.
Nice.
And their song was moving up the charts. They had a big record deal and they were actually getting ready to branch out into their own tour and they were looking for opening acts and we met a bunch of cool bands that way. But he was playing at the Kentucky Derby at a charity event the night before. Actually, I think no, it was Backstreet Boys. Backstreet Boys were there. It was Howie and Kevin. Yeah. But I was stuck with your brother-in-law on 9/11. Well, right before 9/11. I was in Turks and Caicos because of your brother-in-law. But I was so I get confused sometimes with which boy band I was with when. But when I met Mark, we were doing this thing called the Mint Jubilee, which I don't think exists anymore. It was a charity event the night before. And they came out in the audience and asked me if I would introduce the next band. They didn't have someone to introduce it, which is super weird because at a show like that, you would have lined up who's going to introduce who. Yeah. And they came and got me and were like, would you come up and introduce this band? I was like, sure. I introduced them. I see the band. They're like, the band wants to meet you. I'm backstage. They kind of come through this curtain, but it's like a sheer curtain. So I can see this big bald guy in the back, like shaved head, piercings. And I'm like, they're all meeting me, but I'm like looking through the curtain, like, but who's that? And eventually I think he came over and shook my hand, but it was very like,
playing it cool.
Like Mark is, he is the, I'm not going to show you any emotion kind of guy.
So much in common. They need to meet.
Big Alabama football player,
Woo.
And then so I introduced them. I walked out in front of the stage, had to walk like in front of back to my seat. And I was like, suck it in, stand up straight, don't trip. like just thinking about him up there on stage, and I'm walking like right in front of him. I go and sit down. I go to the back of the room with my friend. I was like, we got to go find him. We go to the back of the room. We go to my publicist. I'm like, I'm going to need to meet him. She's like, we're already on it. So they're like, we already figured we're on it. And so it turns out they came out front to drink, which is so not like Mark. Mark is the kind of guy that like goes back and vacuums the bus while everyone else goes and parties.
Oh, I wonder why he came out.
Something. Yeah, or he's calling his nephew to say goodnight, or so, you know, he was
not when a beautiful blonde is on the other side. Like that night he came out.
He did. And the whole band, and he walked past the table like 3 times, and I was like, I guess I'm gonna have to say hi to this guy because he will not stop. And so I said hi to him, and for some reason we were like, want to do a shot of tequila? Like, this is so, if you know us now, like this, we drink. So the fact we were both like, want to do a shot of tequila? Yeah, let's go do a shot of tequila. And we wander over to the bar and we're like, 2 shots of tequila. And they were like, yeah, we don't have tequila, we have vodka. And neither of us, being big drinkers, didn't realize that's not something you shoot. So we did shots of vodka on the first night we met. So we did those again in our wedding, and that's the last time we did that.
Oh, I love that.
Because it's gross. You don't shoot vodka, right?
I don't even shoot tequila. Right? Like I don't really shoot. Like I know Harley and I are like, I
lemon
can't
drops,
hang with
maybe.
her. Yes. Lemon drops.
Oh, Carly, yeah.
No, you can't. Carly. That's not even, I just came off of Thanksgiving with both of them, and I can't hang. Like, I don't know who can hang with the Kirkpatricks.
I always say to them, like, Chris is 50 now. I'm like,
I know.
Mark's asleep at 9:30. Even my 15-year-old is asleep at 9:30. I mean, I'll stay up till the other night. I've been doing I've been in a school program at Belmont University, and nice. I stayed up till 2 a.m. working on a paper the other night. And that's the latest I've stayed up. Like, well, that's not true. I actually did go out in LA and stay out till 2 a.m. But that was only to protect my friend who was like being defiant and wouldn't go home. But you know, so but I didn't drink that night, you know, so like, but if I stay up till 2 a.m. without drinking, I'm a wreck for like 2 or 3 days. Like my eyes are so heavy right now from 2 nights ago staying up.
Carly,
I can't hang.
I know. Well, she was saying you guys met for margaritas the other day, and I was like, oh, Melissa likes margaritas. Like, that's part of my brand. And she's like, she had one, and she's like, she was done. I know. And I was like, Melissa's a lightweight.
No, because I was like, guys, I don't like, here's the thing I've learned about myself. Like for a little while there, I was like, oh my gosh, I like day drinking better than night drinking. Like, I don't wake up hungover. But then I realized I was rushing home from like girls' boozy brunches to try to get a nap before the kids came off the bus, because it was like I was getting a headache, and I was like, I'm really tired. I get cranky, no patience. Like I just want to choke the kids. Like I'm like, I can't do this anymore. I can't drink during the day.
She's a machine. She is a machine, and I feel like she's always at like a lunch, and I'm like, what do you? Oh, we're at the lunch. Like I'm like, I don't know how, every day. I don't know how she. And
that's so funny you said that. Tomorrow. So obviously. I think I make people very uncomfortable with my non-drinking. Like they think that like,
no, they
think that I'm judging them.
No, she loves you. I just was like, when she said, Melissa and I had margaritas. I was like, oh, she drinks margaritas. And she's like, well, nobody drinks like them. Don't feel it's them.
But like, I like one. Yeah, no, I have a fear of being out of control in general in my life. It's probably a problem, but
it's not a problem. I know what it is.
I like to drive.
It's firstborn, obsessive, perfectionist personality. What a perfect segue. I am also the firstborn, and I have done a lot of research about it because I wrote a book about my struggles with like body image, eating disorders, all the things. And I had 3 younger sisters, and no one struggled. Like no one could care. They cared about their looks, but never to the point of like obviously hurting themselves and damaging their bodies. And they just didn't care about it. And I was obsessive, and just everything had to be perfect. And I always equated it to birth order. So now when I have someone like you that's a firstborn, did you ever struggle, or more so than your siblings, with like body image, obsessing, like an obsessive personality, perfectionist, you know, eating disorder mess, or
probably anything? I mean, I never had an eating disorder. I attempted to, but that didn't work out.
You attempted to?
Like I was told that I could do movies if I had lost some weight. And I was like really skinny at the time. So it baffled me. I was like, fine, I'll stick my finger down my throat. And I was like, no, I can't do this.
Yeah, I committed to that.
I actually have a pretty good body image. Like I know that I'm at the heaviest I've ever been right now. I know that I have jowls and like a belly, and I'm like, I don't like it for my husband because he works really hard on his body. And I feel like, but then again, I'm like, I birthed 3 healthy babies. I can still move all my body parts. I can still dance on a dance floor, take a spin class, do all those things. So why am I beating myself up for that? I've always been a healthy eater, not healthy like salads, because I definitely don't go that route. I eat like a 5-year-old, chicken fingers, plain mac and cheese. Like I don't want like, I don't like my family are all foodies. My littlest sister, one of my littlest sisters, because there's 8 of us and 3 are half sisters. And my youngest of my mom's daughters is a chef in Paris. And I mean, it's like foie gras. Like she posted a picture of an 8-course meal she made for my other sister for her birthday the other day. And she went and picked the truffles herself, and she went woofing on a farm and made her own brie and all this stuff. But, I go out to eat with them and I'm like, can I have the truffle mac and cheese? But it's $125. So how much is it if I take the truffle off of it? Because that'll just give me a bellyache. I do like it, but it gives me a bellyache. So, and my sister's like, she would like the plain children's menu mac and cheese, please, for $5. Because I was like, I'm not spending $125 on something I want to take the truffle off of. They're eating like things. She posted these pictures of this food she made. I was like, I don't even identify. Like, I can't be like, that's a piece of beef. That's a piece of chicken. I don't know what she made.
Yeah,
so fancy.
Exactly.
And my whole family loves that. My stepdad was on Master Chef. My sister in San Diego, who's a stay-at-home mom, all she does is like gourmet cook. I'm like, I can't do. And then I have one sister who's like she's doing an elimination diet and all this, but it's like all for healthy purposes because she struggled with fertility and whatnot. And so she had this, she has this diet regimen and like, I mean, she'll have a slice of pizza or whatever, but like, she's careful about inflammation and all these things. And I'm like, I'd like to say I'm disciplined because I am, but I'm not disciplined in my eating. I think because I always thought I was a foodie. And I think I've realized I'm really not a foodie. I eat to live, but it has to be something I want to eat. It can't just be the right thing to eat. Like I make really bad food choices constantly. I will go, if I wasn't married to my husband who cooks, and he only cooks because he likes to eat and he knows he's not getting that from me. I swear, I only like eat because he makes stuff. And me, it's dinner time, it's breakfast time, it's lunchtime. Like I will go all day and be like, oh, like yesterday, I was like, went to Orange Theory and I did this and I did that. And I was like, well, I just need to shove something in my mouth. Let me have some cereal. The kids left some cereal out on this. So let me have some Fruit Loops, and he's like, no, I'm like, no, I just need something in my body like right now. And I'll run by and grab, I just want to grab something. I don't want to prepare it, cook it, clean it up. Totally. I just want it done. I just want a slice of pizza on the go at the airport. I just want a burger at the football game. I just want I'm not going to think about, I don't want to get a salad in the big plastic box with pour some yucky dressing on it. Like it has to be like something I just want to eat real quick. And like, I beat myself up for it all the time because I don't have discipline. But then again, I also kind of gotten to an age where I don't give a crap. But when I was growing up, I remember the first time somebody said, it was actually at a Mexican restaurant, speaking of margaritas, I was 16 and someone at Clarissa maybe had said something, or Nickelodeon, or maybe my mom was just noticing, because my mom is super, super skinny. She is 65. So she's only 20 years older than me. She had 7 kids. So I can't use, I had 3 boys as an excuse, because she is like the slimmest, trimmest. She has no butt, so I will falter on that. But she has the tiniest little waist. All my friends always thought she was so hot. She's only a little bit taller than me, but she eats to live in a way of like, I'm just going to eat 1 bite of your cereal, 1 bite of your sister's, and I'll be done for breakfast. And then I'll have like her downfall is butter, but she can eat a certain amount. And then she is active. She's never worked out in her life, but she walks constantly. She is like, this is the woman who just hiked Kilimanjaro at 60 and did the hike across Spain, Camino de la Santiago or something across Spain. Jeez. She did with one of my little sisters. She did that hike for like 2 weeks or something it takes you to get across Spain. She is like a nonstop. She just got back from Paris yesterday. She's in Malibu. She'll go hiking today, like super active, not a gym person. Yeah. And not a big, like shoves food in her mouth, just like eats really clean. And I didn't get that from her.
Were you going to say she said something or somebody said something to you?
Oh, she said something to me when I was about 16. I think it was my first season on the show. And she told me someone said I needed to start to be careful what I put in my mouth. And I was at a Mexican restaurant. I was really mad. I was like, well, I guess I'm not eating chips and salsa. Meanwhile, now I'm like, I consider that a diet food, by the way. Yeah. But at 16, I remember the first time I was like pushing it away. And I was like, really, like, it's a really clear moment in my mind. I was at Caliente Cab Company on like 7th Avenue downtown and sitting with my boyfriend and my sister and a few other people. And I was like, guess I can't eat that because I was just in a bad mood. Kind of like when I was told I could be a movie star if I
Lose weight.
lost 10 pounds when I weighed 103, you know?
Jeez. Well, you were on TV, like Clarissa you were 16? Like what a hard
I was 14
time.
when I started.
14. Okay.
Yeah.
So like puberty,
Yeah.
your body's changing anyway. You probably are already like, you had to like grow up on TV, and like to get out of that and not have that body image noise, I feel like is
well, I was
amazing.
Growing up, all I wanted to do was dance. And I was really like, my family, we're all born really, really trim, right? So everybody's like a little pipsqueak when they're born. Like in my family, very, very twiggy. No definition, no, like just really, really skinny. And so I never felt that I was fit in clothes. I always, I never had anyone pick on me about my weight. It was just my height. I was always called short. Because I'm only like, thought I was 5'2". Went to the doctor the other day. I'm 5'1". I think I've lost an inch. Maybe because I've widened out, I've shrunk.
Stop. No.
But so like I never had body image problems because I think I always fit in my leotards, and nobody ever said anything about me being too skinny, So and I danced. And so I ended up getting a lot of leg muscle. And then I went to France when I was 18. I wanted to go on a bike tour. And so what I did for my 18th birthday is my dad bought me a bike. My mom bought me a plane ticket. I went to France and rode my bike for 30 days around France on a tour, kind of following the Tour de France. And came back. My sister's calling me Wilbur because I had these legs, like veins and like cuts in them,
muscular.
Right? Like really defined.
Yeah.
Well, and in Europe, the food's so clean. I'm riding all day long. So like in the morning, I'd have a croissant. For lunch, I'd have like a baguette with some cheese, and dinner, I'd have some, maybe some pasta or some kind of, I wasn't eating any kind of escargot or foie gras. So,
we know you don't like that.
No, it was bready, whatever it was bread. Well, also when I became a teenager, the big diet was, I forgot, we're around the same age. I'm 45.
I'm going to be 40 next week.
Oh, okay. So close. I don't know if you remember this. You're probably a little too young. It's like, oh, well, happy birthday, by the way. Oh my
Thank
gosh.
you. I'm going to Mexico with Carly tomorrow.
It's a good one.
Yeah. I'm excited about 40.
I just found my big thing about hitting my 40s was like, all of a sudden I need reading glasses. I'm like, oh no. Like that kind of happens really quick.
Okay.
I was shocked by that. And that's been really bothering me. Like I have to carry them everywhere now. I can't see. Someone tried to show me something in my son's grades this morning. I was like, I didn't bring my glasses. I can't see.
Oh my God. I didn't even think about that.
I know. Okay. That's the only thing that really bummed me out. But yeah. So when I started like hitting the teen years and dieting, the calorie thing had already run its course. Like the Jane Fonda, like don't count calories. That's not the way to go. Was like, that's going out of style. The in style thing was no fat.
Yes.
So I'm in college at NYU in New York, and I'm living in a 5-story walk up and taking the subway downtown every day. So those subway stairs are vast, right? I mean, there's like, you're going up 10 stories sometimes and down and then back up and then down and then back up. Yeah. And I'm going up 5 stories. And if I forgot something, I had to go back up and get my, I forgot the backpack, whatever.
Yeah.
And so my legs were like insane, but also I'm doing this no fat diet. So my breakfast was a bagel with non-fat cream cheese on the way to school.
Yep.
I'd have my tea with milk in it. And then I'd go to, I would have a little milk. I think it was non-fat milk. So non-fat milk in my tea. Then lunch, I would go work out for 2 hours at the gym. And then I would go have 2 slices of pizza, but take the cheese off. And then I go home and make my pasta, but not with an Alfredo sauce, with a tomato sauce.
Yeah.
So I wasn't having the, no buttery,
no fat,
fatty.
Yeah.
So no fat. Yeah. But all carbs.
Yep.
And then all of a sudden later on, it's like, don't eat carbs. And now I'm like, I know bagels, pizza, and pasta. Like, what else am I supposed to live on? Like, look at me in France, right? It's like croissant, baguette, pasta.
Yes. Like, that is what it's all, the fact that it's always changing and you try to keep up with, now it's this, now paleo. Now
it's intermittent fasting.
Now it's intermittent fasting and keto. That's what I meant. Keto. Yeah. So like frying all this butter. It's like Whole 30.
What's the fast 30 or Whole 30? So I don't even understand that one yet.
The thing with the no fat, that was me too. Everything fat free, everything. But the problem with that, like obviously, well, they're adding in sugar and stuff, so it tastes good because you don't have the fat. Yeah. But I would just be like, it's fat free, so I would eat the whole box or the whole bag because they were fat free. Yeah. Now I just eat a few regular chips, regular cookies, because I don't eat the whole bag because they're cookies. But before it was like, no, they're fat free. So my like serving size was like the entire bag, but no, they're fat free. Yeah. And it totally doesn't.
I do that sometimes with the cauliflower chips or whatever. I'm like,
yeah, they're exactly
cauliflower chips. They're not. I mean, they're kale chips. So I'll eat the whole, right? Or like my mom or Mark come to me about, well, first of all, he challenged me once to not eat avocado because I'm a big guacamole girl.
Me
and I think
too.
I was eating it when we lived in LA, I ate it like every day. And I was like, I don't understand. I'm trying to train for a marathon. Like, why can't I lose weight? And he's like, maybe cut out the avocado. I'm like, but it's good fat. He's like, it's a lot. You're eating like 5 avocados. Calm down. He's telling me stories about dogs that like,
it's fine.
Yeah, like I've heard stories of dogs like going into neighbors' yards that have avocado trees and eating they couldn't figure out why the dog was getting so fat and they're putting them on diets, but they're eating avocados in the yard next door.
Oh my God.
I still think avocado, like good fat is still, it was cashews. That was a big, like I was into almonds, but I was like, ooh, cashews are better. I'm going to eat cashews. And someone was like, yeah, raw, a nutritionist who was really into like gut health told me like eat raw nuts because the enzymes are still there as opposed to the cooked nuts. And I got into like liquid stevia instead of sugar. I cut the milk from my tea and all these things. And, in the beginning that all helped, like the probiotics and doing juice cleanses and all that always helped. But I have just realized that I travel too much to be consistent with anything. Like I said before, I don't have the discipline. If I get hungry, I'm going to grab something.
Yeah.
So I have to meal plan and I really don't do that. I try to do that, but, with kids, with football schedules and, a husband who likes to, go out and have the spinach dip at the nearby sports bar. And, the kids have the giant pretzel. How do you avoid that? Like, that's not going to happen. Well, so I'm like, you know what? It's better that I just have a taste of something, right?
That's
like
exactly what it is. If you have to, when you say, how do you not have it? You do have it. Because people will be like, well, how do you handle like treats? I have it. Because if you don't, at some point you're feeling deprived and you're sick of it. And it's like, I had a bite of spinach dip and you have all the spinach dip because it's like, I blew it. And then you'll say, I'll start over on Monday. But if you allow indulgences every day, I truly drink a margarita, a glass of wine. I always have something sweet with my coffee, a chocolate chip cookie or something. I don't have to have it after every meal, but I have it every day. And that's what makes it sustainable. Like you said, like, yeah, you'll see a difference initially, but nobody's going to stay with a cleanse or whatever this diet is forever. As soon as you start eating normally, it's going to go back. So I found Squats and Margaritas is a balance that you have what you want. You have your indulgences, you work out when you can. And if you didn't work out for a couple of days, you watch what you're eating a little bit more. You just kind of balance it out, but nothing is off limits.
It's funny. Working out, I was so I worked out in the time I was about 16 on like an avid, and I have a really slow, strong heart rate, like on that VO2 machine. Mark got one of those VO2 machines because he was certified to train, NASA certified. And, but he wouldn't train anyone but me, but we'd get in huge fights over it all the time.
Oh, I could not train with my husband.
Got one of those,
no way.
He got one of those VO2 machines. He made me do Dead December last year. That's what got me back into working out. So I gave up on working out. So before my 40th day, I insisted on being in the best shape of my life. And I busted my butt for 6 months. I ate salads, I did everything right, cut all this, ate all that, worked out like a fiend, sometimes 2-3 times a day, right? Going to spin classes, then going to like not a CrossFit, but like a cross training class. And like would just, 6 days a week, I was in the gym twice a day, and I looked great, but I didn't appreciate it. When I actually took some pictures for my 40th birthday, we had to go down, I took like 13 girlfriends and we went and we had like a discounted stay, let's say at a women's, like a fun girlfriend resort, Breathless Resorts. And we were going to take pictures for them. And we were all in bathing suits. And I'd spent thousands of dollars on new swimsuits and just the right kind and blah, 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 blah. Don't like the one I ended up in, but I ended up, looking like the fattest one of the group. Like I'd worked so hard. I was older than a lot of them, but I was like, and not fattest. I shouldn't say that. No. I looked like my stomach was so not the way I thought it should be. Right. It was not as flat as I thought. It wasn't as cut as I thought. It's still, and I think now I'm looking at pictures of myself when I was, quote unquote skinny. Like my Sabrina days, I'm always showing my stomach crop top in it, and I had nice tight skin across my stomach, but I always had a pouch. Like I always kind of had a poof. Like I stand funny too. I have a very arched back. Like I do this like ballerina stance. So I stick my butt out. My mother-in-law, who was a dance teacher, is always like, put that under. And Mark's like, you're the only person that can lose 10 pounds by standing up straight. Like if I tuck my hips, but then I feel like I'm like leading with my crotch. Like when I walk, I don't understand how to do that. So anyway, so in these pictures, I hated the way they turned out. And I was like, all of that. And this is what I look like. And I was so disappointed with myself. And I was like, that's it. I give up. I'm not doing this anymore. And I'm 40 now. Who cares? Like I'm done. And then I kind of went the next year of being like, whatever, I tried and it didn't work. And then over the last 5 years, like weight has crept on, and then you have COVID, and then you have moving to the South, and there's biscuits at every meal and fried chicken everywhere. And that is a downfall of mine, fried chicken.
Nashville
like
hot chicken.
Oh my gosh, I want to eat it every meal. I'll have it for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Chick-fil-A everywhere.
I know.
Right? Like everywhere, like
everywhere.
At our football games. Like everywhere. I probably should just have a patty of meat instead of like the whole burger and bun, but instead I go for the Chick-fil-A, but so I was so disappointed with myself, but now I look back and I'm like, oh my gosh, but I had great arms. I had amazing definition of my legs. My back was not busting out over my bra. And now I'm like, so I was in Orange Theory yesterday with a friend, and I looked at her, I said, I'm going to lose weight until the point, like I'm going to get myself fit so that I get my back. Like I want my back. I want to get rid of like my neck, that's my goal now. I don't care about the things I used to care about, like my belly and my thighs. Like I was so insecure about my thighs growing up. That was my big thing because I had these big legs from biking and dancing. That was what I was really uncomfortable with. And actually, so 9/11, in September of 2001, I went on to an NSYNC concert at Turks
I was going to say, how
Island.
did somehow this get into my brother? Okay, good. We're coming back to it.
Because I always think back to this picture of me in the water there. And I just remember thinking how fat I must have looked, how my thighs were probably huge. And I look back at the picture and go, oh my gosh, I was so hot. Why didn't I appreciate it?
Right.
So now what I do is when I think about things like, oh, I shouldn't be in the Christmas card photo. I just don't look right. I don't, clothes aren't fitting me, blah, 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 blah. And then I'm like, let's see, I'm 45. When I'm 55, I'm probably going to wish that I looked like I do now. So let's just stick with that. Let's just like go with
great, Melissa. Like you look great.
And I have to think about things like my body functions. Yeah. It's starting to get like I think I'm starting to get plantar fasciitis, which is killing me. I have a problem with my right hip. I just found out I had a rib out of place that the chiropractor had to put in. I didn't even know that could happen. But I was riding horses a lot this summer for a movie I did, Mistletoe, Montana, which is out on December 17th. But so I was riding horses a lot, and I'm like, and I remember my back went out in the middle of production, not on a horse or anything, but I wonder if something about the rough riding or what something had to do with like this. I went to see a chiropractor for the first time in 10 years, and he was like, your rib is out of place. I was like, what does that mean? Right. But like getting myself in a place where I like, I just try to think, I just wish I was better about my eating, really. And I'm back now. I have a group of girlfriends, and this is how I make friends, is working out. Yeah. We started walking 6 miles twice a week together. Wow. And we'd meet up, and the group got bigger and bigger and bigger. And we all made a pact to be better about doing this together. They're all women that like work in real estate or stay-at-home moms. And so and some of them aren't, some of them are teachers that sometimes can do it, sometimes can't. One's like a psychologist. And so, everybody shows up when they can. We have this lovely group of girls, and we all bond over these long walks. We talk like crazy. We get to know each other. We tell all the stories. We get exercise. Then we started upping the game. We spent 2 weeks going, we're just going to do whatever we can do to work out for the next 2 weeks. Let's find workouts. Let's experiment with everything. Yeah. Let's go to spin. Let's find a spin class or two. Let's try, I've never tried Orange Theory. Let's do hot yoga. Let's do a bar class. Let's do, so we went and explored all that. We found a few things we like. And we still have some others we have to try, like really want to tap dance again. I used to tap dance a few years ago. I did an adult. I love tap dancing. I have a pair right here next to me. And so I'm like, that's something I want to find, is like a tap teacher here that'll do a private adult class. Cause I feel like you can't find a class that you can just slide into with that. It's always best to like find a group and find a local friend. Like we found in New York, we found this wonderful woman, Stevie. She was a former Rockette. So she taught like 6 women to tap, and like it ended up becoming 10 women, and then some had to leave town, and like me. But anyway, that's something I would love to do. Like I feel like I want to dance, I want to move, I want to go to rhythm. Like I was doing Orange Theory yesterday, a song came on, I was on the rower, and the rower's not my favorite.
I hate the rower.
And that song came on, and they try. I like it for a sprint. I like it for a opener or a closer. Like we have one in the garage, and I'll use it to start, or I'll go to like, how fast can I get to 1,000 or 500 meters or something. But, or how many meters can I get in 2 minutes or something, but I don't like being on it for a long amount of time. But this song came on, and then they wanted us to get off the rower. And I was like, I'm sorry, I'm in the red zone right now. I am not getting off this rower.
You're getting your splat points.
I'm like, I'm not going to the floor. I'm not going to the floor. My heart rate drops to like gray.
I know. I'm always like, is it on? Like I used to do Orange Theory too. You know what I think you would like, and you might have taken it before, and my arms were never better when I did pole fitness. If you like dancing.
Oh, someone just told me. I have to figure out. Yeah, someone just told me about that one and wanted to take me to one of those. I don't know who it was. I'll have to figure that out. But that's always terrified me a little.
No, it's strength. It's addictive. Like I was like YouTubing. Everybody thinks like, I mean, there's like a sexy element too. There's choreography, you can dance, there's music, but I got like, I would YouTube different like spins and try to learn. I mean, I can still climb to the top, like hang through my feet. I can invert. It took me a year, but I mean, that was my favorite thing I ever did.
I just love dancing. I would do Zumba. I would do hip hop.
You're dancing. You're not thinking about it. You're exercising and it's fun.
Sweating. That's what I like about spin too, actually, because when I spin, I'm on that thing and I start getting out of breath and I start feeling like my chest is going to explode. And I'm like, if I was on a dance floor at a club in Ibiza, would I stop to this song?
No, exactly.
No,
exactly. It's a mindset.
I would still jump up and down until the song was over. So that's what I do. Yeah.
I hate spinning because of my butt. Like it hurts so bad just to sit on the seat, and everybody's like, you'll get used to it. But I'm like, I cannot, it's not even like hurting where it's supposed to hurt, like my legs and stuff. Cause I'm so uncomfortable on the bike. So I don't love spinning.
The trick there is like not to sit too much. And when you do sit, like gently touch down and make sure it's like the back part of your butt, not the like
the sit bones.
For lack of the taint, for lack of a better.
I got you. That's where it hurt. That's where I hurt myself. Okay.
Yeah.
Sitting
so
wrong.
Go a little further back. So it's more like on the butt than like underneath the butt.
Okay.
And gentle touchdowns is the key. You will be a little bit sore, especially if you do it again the next day. Like I can never do it 2 days in a row, really. I mean, I can, but I'll feel it there in those days. But you can also get a cushioned, like when I was going around France, get those like gel pack seats and bring those with you. But they always slip off though.
And I just feel like a nerd walking in with a gel pack seat. I don't need that. And then I'm like walking around. That's true. I care too much what people think.
I bring in a huge bag everywhere I go in case I forget my water bottle, my headband, my towel, I have extra, like I have deodorant in there. I keep like a whole bag of stuff just to bring in the gym, just so that I keep my shoe. Actually, it's right here. I literally have this is my gym bag. I should say my spin bag. So always has a pair of shoes. I've got my boxing wraps in case I go to a boxing class.
Look at you.
I've always got like, baby wipes so I can wash my face so I don't break out. Like I always have all my stuff in here.
Damn.
And so keep your gel, just bring that in.
Keep my gel seat in.
There you go.
Well, I
was going to say the Vox, the Vox VO2. What is it? VO2.
Yeah, the oxygen.
Mark had that machine. He had that machine and he was trying it on everybody. He's trying it on my 50-year-old cousin who hikes like crazy at high altitudes. He was trying it on the 22-year-old at the gym. He tried it on so many different fit, crazy people. And I got in there and I don't always have the healthiest lifestyle. And the last like 2 years, I really didn't. This past year, I started working out again in December of 2020. He got me into December, like lifting in December, and that got me back into working. And then he got me that fight camp thing. Cool. The boxing program is like Peloton for boxing. And that got me really into it. And now I'm back into working out. But before that, for the last few years, I go for hikes and I go for walks and like, that was it. And I got on that bike and we're at altitude too. We're at like 7,000 feet. And I got on the bike and I put the thing on my face and he was so mad because I forget what the top rating is. It's something like supreme or some crazy word like
optimal.
Yes, it's like some kind of, and I had that level and I was the only one of all the people he tested that had that level. And I was like, sorry, honey. Like he was like, I think he gave up on it. He was like, oh, this obviously doesn't work. I'm like, no, I just think I'm really good. Like, I'm really like, my heart is really strong. I recover really quickly.
Yeah.
And that's actually my struggle with something like Orange Theory, where they're trying to track the heart rate. Because the heart rate doesn't, for me, it takes a lot to get me up there and I come right down. So I don't get all those splats and stuff. Like everyone else is getting like 25 splats. I'm struggling to get 15.
So I used to stress that. I know I would always stress. I'm like the data, like I don't have enough points, but I was like, or sometimes like my thing wasn't working and I didn't like see my points. You still got an amazing workout, regardless of if your splats were calculated correctly or not.
I wear my Fitbit, literally. Look, I'm wearing it. Like I wear it every day. Mm-hmm. I get so mad if I'm doing a workout, especially a walk, without it. If I forget it, I'm like, oh, no point in doing
I know
this.
it didn't count.
It doesn't count. I can't register it. I can't even look at it. I can't send it to friends and brag. Like, what's the point? And I don't consider myself, like, I used to consider myself a competitive person. And then too much has happened where I'm like, it doesn't matter. So I've kind of not been competitive, but I do think that the Orange Theory, that like the Peloton too, like helps me sometimes when I see other people. I just try to find a marker to keep up with, not necessarily that I'm competing with that person, but like for me, like I realized with Orange Theory, I want to get over 15 splats. So like yesterday, I think I ended up getting 17, but I started on the rower and so hard to get out of like gray and blue for me. I was able to stay in the green and even, sorry. I started on the tread yesterday, and the tread is the only place I get orange or red. And Same. It was so hard for me because I started on that and it took me a while to warm up. So I missed like 5 minutes of splats that normally if I had warmed up on the rower or the floor, get on the tread, I'm immediately in orange. So I missed like 5 splats. And then I was like, well, now I can't make that up, so I'm busting my butt on the floor and like jumping around like a maniac trying to like, while I'm doing curls and like trying to get my heart rate up.
And they're like explaining the next exercise and you're like, just trying to.
Like, no, I can't stop. I can't stop. I consider myself not competitive.
That I was so I peed my pants on the mile run. It was like a mile run challenge and I had just had a baby. Well, I was 6 months postpartum. I just started working back out and I can't, again, perfectionist, firstborn. Like I knew they were going to put the times on the chalkboard when we came in. And I was like, I'm to the point, like I will just keep running. I knew I was peeing and I was like, well, I was running 12 as fast as I could. I won, I got up there and then I just like went left and went right to the bathroom because I couldn't, that's how bad I needed to win and be first. Yeah. It's horrible. I hate that.
Gyms, my friend who's a spin instructor, she says she has to change her pants between each class. I don't pee myself when I'm spinning, but trampoline, jumping jacks. Yeah. But like, I don't know why these gyms don't offer bladder fixes. Like it would be, what a great sales point to be like, come on in and we'll get your bladder fixed if you pay for a year's membership or something.
And you're like, sign me up. I don't care how much it is.
I'd be like, sure, I would work out more if I wasn't peeing myself all the time.
I have a woman she's recording with me in a couple of weeks and her Instagram is the Vagina Coach. And she's all about pelvic floor and incontinence and stress. Mine was stress incontinence. She's like, do you just pee when you're walking around? I'm like, no. And she's like, so there has to be a stressor. Like you have to be running or jumping. And I was like, yeah. And she's like, totally.
When I sneeze, I have to stop and cross my legs.
Yes. I would never sneeze. I would never chance.
By the way, you're the first person I've ever told that on that's recording me. So
it's fun. Well, that brings me to something else. Having this podcast and like connecting with people that I probably wouldn't have met. Like I love it so much. And I just learned that you are launching a podcast very soon.
I am.
Because
I've asked your brother-in-law to write me a theme song like yours. Carly texted me this morning and said that he's walking around the house listening to the Clarissa Explains It All theme song right now. Because I said, let's make it something like that, like a little, fun and cheesy and fun and cute and whatnot.
Oh, I'm going to
start a podcast called What Women Binge. So we're going to talk to people about, and we'll have to have Chris on there for sure. And I feel like you and Carly should come on too. Just about everything that you're obsessed with. Like, what are you obsessed with right now? TV show, book, podcast, workout, food. Is there an app game you can't stay away from? Like, is it Candy Crush or is it Sudoku or,
That's
just
cool.
everything, during COVID, my girlfriends back in Connecticut were sending this huge group text and everybody's like, oh guys, I need a new TV show. What should I watch? Or I need a book, or when I was driving here from Connecticut, 14-hour drive, I was like, guys, I'm going to need a few podcasts. What should I listen to?
Yeah.
So, one of them was like, I'll start a spreadsheet. And I was like, I'll just start an Instagram page and we'll just review stuff. And then I was like, this would be a great podcast. Yes. So I've been wanting to do it. And my girlfriend was like, let's do it. And she has the studio. And so we're going to do it. So
I love that. And you're going to be able to get, my problem is like, I can't grow on Instagram. So had I not met you already, you would probably be like, why would I do this? Because I have like 19,000 followers and you don't need to do it. You have the presence already. So you're going to be able to get whoever you want. Like that's my problem. Like, I want to be like, it's a great show. I know I don't have a big following, but I can't grow on Instagram no matter. Like I had Katie Couric last week. She shared the whole interview and I'm like, nothing happened. So I feel like I don't have the credibility. Nothing ever happened. So I don't have credibility. Because people are like, you don't even have a following.
No, I feel the same way though. I started a kids clothing line. I think social media, I think people give it a lot of gravity, but I don't think it actually works like people think it should.
Great.
I know I did I did like I posted a ton yesterday for Giving Tuesday. And the main thing I did was this charity that I love and adore, World Vision. Done a ton of stuff for them. And most of it was about their gift catalog for Christmas, but also Giving Tuesday. And I put up a thing. I had a goal of $1,000 on my Instagram. And maybe I didn't set up the Instagram correctly, but I only got 148 right away, $148 out of the 1,000 goal. And that was it. And then last night I went and put $100 in, and it still hasn't grown.
It's because the algorithm, like some people probably didn't see your page yesterday. People, you only see.
I think people also are, and inundated with things. They have their charities that they like, or they have their clothing companies that they're. So when I had a kids clothing line, and I was like gonna put it in stores, I was going to all the around the whole country. I was going to the conventions and trying to get it in little boutiques. I want it to be a little boutique line, kind of like that company T that does stuff for or Janie and Jack or something like that.
Yeah.
But smaller than Janie and Jack. I want it to be like a little section in a boutique with like jeans and t-shirts. And I thought it was a really cute idea. And boy lines were going away. There were no clothes for boys. And so and this is right as the kind of Under Armour, Nike, like wear your basketball pants to school thing was coming in, and so jeans weren't, my kids were all of a sudden like, I'm not wearing jeans. And I was like,
right.
What? You've always worn jeans.
I will create jeans that you will wear.
Yes, you will wear them because they won't have those buttons that will dig into your hip and like all this stuff. So I thought we did it all right. We tried to make it American made, which was very difficult. And then we decided, you know what? It's costing us so much money to bring people out, to have a booth at these conventions, to make the product ahead of time, but not have the sales. And then, Florida wants one thing, but Oregon wants something else. And it was all really difficult. So Mark was like, just put it online. And so we started like an online marketplace, and we were like, let's just do that and forget these conventions and forget like trying to get in little boutiques. Let's just make it available to anybody. But the problem was my social media is all that was driving people there. So as soon as those, maybe 10,000 people that have kids that would shop for something that's a little bit overpriced because it's made in America had bought those things for their kids, they were done until their kids grow in a year or two. They're not going to come back. So you don't have, and I couldn't grow it beyond that because that's who's on my Instagram. They'd already seen it. It was, and we try to put it on kids on red carpets all around. But the only people seeing that is people that know that it's King of Hearts was people that I'm telling them that's King of Hearts,
it's frustrating.
It's frustrating. Things don't grow the way you think they should with word of mouth anymore. It has to be shoved down your throat, I think, so much now. And there's just so much content. Like I remember when we started my show, Melissa and Joey, in 2009, we didn't want to call it Melissa and Joey. The network was like, you're Melissa and he's Joey, and people will know you if we say the name in the title, because when they're scrolling through TV Guide and whatnot, they'll go, oh, that's that show with Melissa and Joey. It had nothing to do with the show, but it was called Melissa and Joey because they thought it would just attract your eye to the fact.
And it does.
And it does. But it still didn't work because everyone thought the network was a kids network and thought this was a kids show, and it wasn't.
Yeah. It's
funny how marketing works, but
you can do like promotions on Instagram and target specific genre. Like you could say, I want this to go to moms 35 to 45 that live in this area that like these things, and then you pay, and then Instagram targets those accounts. They don't have to be following you, but they'll target.
Is this the boosting when they ask if you want to boost something or something like that?
Mine actually says, I've seen boost, but then mine actually says promote this post. And when you hit promote, they'll ask who are the people you want to, and you can make it geographically. You can do it by age, like things that they're interested in. And that's what because my niche is like mom, fitness. I talk about eating disorder recovery. So I can target when I have my book, or like I'm trying to sell books or promote my podcast, I can promote it to women 24 to 35 that are following certain hashtags.
I never actually pushed that button. I was afraid it was just another way for them to get you.
I mean, and I can't say, well, look at me. I'm like, I can't grow, but do this because it doesn't work. But that might be for you for a clothing line. Like you could target you're not just putting it out to the people that follow you, who's like 1 million people. It's going to a targeted
explore page or something.
I can't get on that. It's so frustrating. I have had you for so long. I was just the only other thing I was going to ask you was, Squats and Margaritas is finding that balance. Like you're working out, you're enjoying your life, you're a mom. You just said like you started a clothing line and you're directing and you're acting and you have 3 kids. Like what is I struggle Like, I feel like when I'm a good mom and I'm really like locked in with my kids, my podcast is shit because I didn't work on it that week. And when I'm really like, I have a good guest and I'm like working all week, like thinking about questions, my kids like haven't even seen me that week. And I feel like I'm coming up short in both areas. Like, what is your advice for a mom that's like trying to like balance everything and like not drop any balls? Like, what do you say?
The only thing that works for me is a really good calendar. And yeah, thinking about the priorities, like every night since I was little, I kind of think about like what would make me have a well-balanced day. Like getting up, reading the Bible, going to a workout class, taking the kids to school, cleaning up my closet, and then make sure I see a friend for lunch, make sure I get some work done in the afternoon. But I mean, the thing that works in my life that's really interesting, that's really unique is that, and I guess I'm lucky, and this is also really difficult in other ways, is that when I work, it's usually away from home.
Yeah.
It's in LA or it's on location. And so when I'm away, I am working. And then when I'm home, I'm a mom. So I can be full-time mom sometimes, but then I'm completely absent. And then I'm full-time working. So like I was just in LA, not last week, the week before. And I was there for 1 week. I was there for 5 days. I got in all my, like, I got to see this friend. I got to get this meeting. I'm going to do this. I was writing a script. I was, directing the show. But then at night, because I'm not going home to the kids and I don't have to clean up the kitchen, I don't have to get their backpacks ready for the next day. I am just getting everything done that I don't want to do the next week. I'm ordering my Christmas cards. I'm doing this. I'm doing that. Like I'm getting everything done so that when I get home to my kids, it's kid time. Like today, I spent this whole morning talking to my high school kids' teachers about his failing grades and how we're going to get him back on track and how we're going to like what we're going to do with him and then getting him off to go. He's going to play in the state championship right now. So like getting him off to go do that. And then, I take, I'm actually going to a Hanukkah dinner tonight at a friend's house. So I'll see my friends tonight, but I like, usually my friends are a part of my morning and my workouts, but like today I had to forego the workout for the kids.
Yeah.
So of course the priorities are usually like kids, then husband, like I try to fit the husband in there, work. But I tell my kids, I'm like, I actually am friends with Melissa from Melissa and Doug, the toy company. And I asked her, she has 6 kids. And I was like, and she works with her husband. And I was like, how do you like, I mean, because I come and go from work and I feel so guilty. And she's like, you shouldn't feel guilty for working. She's like, you should show them what a good work ethic looks like. You should show them a mommy works hard. Like, she's like, that shouldn't be a bad thing. And I was like, that's really true. And I try to think about that. Like, they need to see that a work ethic, I can't just drop everything to play Legos. Sometimes absolutely I should. Or I say, you know what, mommy can't today. Let's do it on Saturday. Or I can't, like my son has been dying to decorate the tree because he knows the elves come. But as moms, we know that those elves can be real trouble. And it's a whole other job that I
ruin your life.
Never signed up for. I don't like the next 25 days of my life are going to be I need somebody to just come in and manage those things.
Someone should do that. Someone should be the elf on the shelf mover and just like you would hire them out to go to everyone's house and like, so it's done.
Well, my problem is, that reminds me, I'm going to put that in my calendar right now. Like I always set a timer in the winter time. It's called Magic. It's a magic timer. That's what I title it in my thingy. And like 9:00 every night, it goes off so that if I'm in bed or something's happening, I remember and I let it go off until I actually do it. I do not I snooze this thing, but I will keep it on until it goes and every night. So it'll come on every day at 9:22 right now. Amazing. But, because I cannot, I only have a few more years of this happening, but the freaking elves had to come as soon as the tree was decorated. So we got the tree on Sunday because we got to get the tree. We're having a party on Saturday. So we've got to get the tree. Like here's what's been going on in my life. Like, I feel like I'm drowning right now. I'm taking a class where I'm screenwriting and the amount of homework is insane. Even though I'm auditing, not getting graded, there's only 4 students in this class and me and Kimberly Paisley. And I feel like I need to be like responsible for these other kids that are in the class, that I need to do the work that they're asked to do if I'm going to be part of this class. So the amount of homework and reading and book reports and writing, I'm writing 15 pages of a script. I just had to hand in my script yesterday. I had class yesterday and we had to meet with another writer and ask him intelligent questions about his TV show that we watched and read and all this. So that's a huge weight on my shoulders right now. I have to get my Christmas cards out by December 1st because I just want that off my plate. So today, like I went and delivered like, I dropped off 20 this morning, so I feel a little good about that. They're all stamped and stuffed and ready to go. You'll see a post about it on my Instagram coming up soon, so you'll see my Christmas card. But those are like, I just have to address them, right? I have to plan my party this weekend. I have to go shopping for my party this weekend. I have to fix my tacky sweater for the party this weekend. Next week is all like the kids, the angel gifts are due at school, the teachers' gifts, the wrapping, the shopping, the Cyber Monday. I already missed Cyber Monday, so I didn't get my husband the pizza oven I'm supposed to be getting, like things like that. So my closet, this, by the way, is what I'm most embarrassed about. Look at this. This is not how I live. And I'm horrified right now. Look at the clothes on my floor.
Melissa,
like
the fact that
I don't live like this.
But thank you. No one thinks you do. And that's the thing. Like right now, like I don't want you to see my shit around me because it's Melissa Joan Hart and she probably has it all together. But if people started showing that nobody has it all together and like
nobody,
I
never, like my closet, there's certain places where I control my life. My car is always clean, and right now it's a disaster. I haven't vacuumed it, or like usually I'll just like wipe my face with a wipe after like a baby wipe after a class, and then I'll wipe down the dashboard and get the dust. It is like leaves and food, and my car is like my sanctuary. Like that is the one thing I can keep in control. Every time I pump gas, I'm cleaning my car. But this closet is like I don't even know what to do with all this. Like I'm stepping on clothes as I'm getting ready in the morning and at night. And I forget about it because I'm outside trying to clean up because I'm having a party on Saturday. I'm trying to decorate. We have like the tree up, but not decorated. We have some lights up. The rest are on the floor. I can't find the towels, like the Christmas towels. Mark needs my help to finish lighting outside. I'm trying to like spend time with friends, get a workout in. Like yesterday I was like, because I stayed up till 2 a.m. writing my paper, I'm like, do I work out or am I going to be tired? I probably shouldn't, because we have to go to the lighting of the green last night, like this big concert the kids wanted to go to.
Yeah.
So it's like all this stuff on your plate is just like overwhelming. So I prioritize, I calendar, and sometimes I just have to say no.
I have a hard time with that.
I just have to say no.
You do. And this is a hard time. There's extra things right now that we wouldn't have. You wouldn't have a holiday party. You wouldn't have teacher gifts.
No. And I'm trying to buy a car, right now. My lease was up in September and I didn't know what to do. I was like, my car is going to be more than double what I'm paying right now because of this like car shortage, like more than double my payments, like the chips and whatnot.
Hold on. My mom she came from, my mom, she's at the front door and I don't think it's unlocked. I just, go get it. Hold on 1 second. I forgot you met her. To get Tina. Okay, she's coming to say hi and then I will release you. Remember Melissa?
Yes.
Hi. How are you?
Good. I just took the longest Uber ride from the Atlanta airport.
She's here because she's coming with me and Carly and our younger sister.
Oh, to Mexico. She said I wasn't supposed to.
And Carly's missing your party. She's sad about your party.
She said, she's like, oh, Chris is singing the music all around the house. I'm like, the house, are you home? She's like, yeah, but we're going away this weekend. She said, tell Squats that you can't do the podcast unless you go to Mexico too.
Oh, that would be so fun.
Like, I was supposed to hold you hostage for a flight to Mexico.
Yeah, well, you're welcome anytime. If you can fit it into everything that you just listed. Thank you for being so real and sharing.
I know. And I know it's all like everybody's overwhelmed and everybody has to and it's literally about like finding priorities. And, I'm really glad I worked out yesterday. I have to say, like I was going to push it off and I worked out and I felt great because of it. And I was up all night doing stuff. I wasn't as tired as I thought. I think that
it energizes you.
It's hard to remember that when beforehand. It's like really hard to remember that, but it's so great when you do. So
I wanted to just, I would love, anytime you want to come on, I can't wait for your podcast. I know that's coming up. What else is coming up? Christmas movie.
Oh, Mistletoe in Montana, December 17th. The podcast, we're just starting to kind of figure it out. So we're going to record our first few next week and see how that goes before it wouldn't launch until January.
That's soon.
And yeah. And then, and what else? Well, and some other like things in the works for next year, like developing a TV show and other Christmas and other movies, like TV movies mainly. But I'm also screenwriting now, so I have like 2 movies I'm going to be pitching. So
fun.
2 feature films now, so I'm very excited. And we'll see if my professor gives me better than an F, because so far I have not gotten great grades. Apparently I don't know how to use apostrophes correctly, and he gets very upset about that. So
well, you'll show him when your movies, come out and kill it.
We'll see.
Thank you so much, Melissa. I can't wait to see you next time I'm in Nashville.
Yeah, come by and visit sometime soon.
Yeah, I would love
After
to
you're
see
done
your
with
house.
Mexico and all
Carly
your
said your house is so
margaritas.
cool.
The house is really cool.
Yeah,
Lacking closet space, obviously, because my floor is a disaster. But otherwise, yeah, really, this house it's basically what got us to Nashville so quick, is like how cool this house is.
Yeah, that's so funny because I said I'll move to Georgia, but I get to pick the house, and I'm like obsessed with my
Yeah,
house.
yeah.
So that I kind of leveraged the move with
Well,
the
that's
house.
Mark did the opposite. Mark went and found a house that he thought I would love, and then like roped me in that way. Like, don't you want to live here? And I was like, yeah. And
Oh
then
my
yeah, here
God.
I am.
We'll be all right. We're gonna handle
Well,
the
best of
South.
luck. Have fun in Mexico. Be
Thank
safe. Get lots of
you.
margaritas for me.
Thank you, Melissa. Have a great
All
day.
right, I'll talk to you soon.
Okay,
Bye, girl.
bye.